Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. When Renault first launched the Duster in India, the French car maker was asked why it had chosen not to launch the all-wheel drive version. Renault believed that it would have complicated the production process because the suspension was different. But it's finally here. The all-wheel drive has hit Indian roads, and Jamshed gets you his verdict.
So, why are we driving the Renault Duster once again on Overdrive? Take a closer look. Yeah, something's changed, hasn't it? Well, this is the all-new Renault Duster. Now, on the outside, the new Renault Duster probably doesn't have much to differentiate it from the older version. Apart from the new smoked headlamps, the new really stylish alloys, and of course there's this badge that we get to later on. But apart from that, there's nothing much that tells you that this is an all-new Duster. But then once you come on the inside, you realize this is an all-new interior. So you've got a new steering wheel, new instrument cluster, new infotainment system, and of course this really cool looking black and red upholstery as well. Now this new Duster retains the ubiquitous 1.5-litre diesel engine from the previous model, but only in one state of tune, which is the 110 PS, the higher one. But what Renault's engineers claim is that they've shortened the initial gear ratios a bit to make it even more fuel efficient from before. So the new Duster has a claimed fuel efficiency figure of 19.72, which is higher than the previous model. So what else has changed? Well, the Duster's ride quality to begin with was quite impressive on the road, even off the road. But what Renault's engineers have now done is they've given it an independent multi-link all-wheel suspension system, which means that the ride quality is even better than it was before. And that's not all. The new Duster also gets a host of driver aids. So now you also get something like anti-slip regulation, traction control, something that's called electronic torque control. What that essentially all means is that you're now even more in control of the Duster than you were before. But is that the part that interests me? No. Because the best part and the real change in this new Duster, as I'm sure all of you have already figured out by that AWD badge, is that this gets an all-wheel drive system, an intelligent one at that. Now we already know that the Duster always came with excellent on-road mannerisms, but with this new all-wheel drive system, it only makes sense to actually test it off the road. So why don't we try and find ourselves a few small obstacles.
Well, what I really meant was small obstacles by Overdrive standards.
Now, as all of you already know, this 1.5-litre diesel engine is good for 110 PS and about 245 Nm of max torque. Now, when this car was launched, we weren't really sure whether this would be enough to move a car of this size, let alone go off-roading with it, but it did manage to impress us. But now, this engine has more things to deal with, like for example, the driver aids. Now these driver aids like traction control are notorious for taking away power when they feel that the tires are lacking traction. On the other hand, you also have this all-wheel drive system, which also means the added transmission losses. So can this 1.5-litre diesel engine cope with these added hurdles? Well, you'll see for yourself. Now, amongst the new additions, you get an iDrive system on the new Duster. Don't tell BMW about it, but on the new Duster, it has nothing to do with the infotainment system. It is just a simple knob that allows you to select 3 different modes. One is a 2-wheel drive mode, which you use on an everyday basis to get the maximum efficiency when you don't really need that much traction. Then it has an auto mode, which is the intelligent part where it senses the need for traction and locks the differentials. And then of course you have the permanent lock for those really sticky situations when you desperately need to get out of it. my only problem with this all-wheel drive system is that it's too forward biased instead of being a little rear biased. So my front wheels are getting a little more power than my rear wheels. So essentially every time I try to, well, steer the car using a little bit of oversteer and throttle control, I can't do that because my front wheel end up spinning more than my rear wheel, and well, while this system might be protecting you from big bad oversteer, well, the understeer isn't a lot of fun. Well, closing thoughts, I cannot stress enough that the pricing for this car is going to be key. Now, with all the new additions that it has, the new all-wheel drive system, the electronics, the driver aids, this new independent suspension system are, well, quite likely to significantly increase the price. And if that were to happen, I'm not sure if this car is premium enough to, well, command that sort of a price. But, well, Renault claim that they intend to price it quite competitively. And I think the success lies on that pricing. But anyways, off-roading enthusiasts, rejoice, because you have an all-new edition and it is quite capable. It's time for me to, well, get the car washed and head home.